To electoral matters now, as Nigeria prepares for future elections, calls are growing for a modernized Electoral Act that makes electronic result transmission mandatory at all polling units. The reform push also highlights the need for early voting for security personnel, journalists and election officials, groups often denied participation due to duty assignments. Other proposals include regular voter register audits, stronger enforcement of internal party democracy, and improved access for persons with disabilities. Now, advocates say these measures could enhance transparency, protect the integrity of the process, and move Nigeria closer to a truly credible, technology-driven electoral system. And now IT lawyer Jed Oyeneye joins us in Lagos for a conversation on this subject. Jed, thank you so much for joining us. What are the main goals behind the push for mandatory electoral or electronic transmission of the election results? What's the end goal of that?
All right, good afternoon, and thank you for having me. The goals of this are, first of all, transparency, because, citizens should be able to see that the votes we are casting, votes we are putting down, our opinions, our take on what exactly the country should be doing does matter. The other thing is also the fact that it must be auditable, right? So if I cast my ballot in, say, I'm from Ogun State, so I cast my ballot in Ogun State, I should be able to say, yeah, I think we were about 3,000 at my polling unit, and so I should be able to find that same thing on the portal, that's the IR portal. I should be able to find it there and say, oh yeah, it's there, you understand? And then the third thing is deterrence, right? So by the time you push for technology, it will deter malpractice and all other forms of irregularities that have been marring our elections even since when Nigeria has decided to hold the path of democracy. So that's my take on that.
So on the back of this is a question around blockchain and whether Nigeria has the back-end infrastructure to drive digital transformation on that scale.
So when we mouth the concept of blockchain isn't a miracle in itself. What blockchain promises is immutability. Immutability basically means that it is the way we put it that we would find it. So somebody wouldn't be able to change some of the results behind our backs. You understand? So that's what that's where Bitcoin and all those other stuff in the Web3, that's where they find relevance, because they know this is immutable. It goes into a ledger, and it also provides it pushes for provenance. Provenance means it's showing the history of the results, so that even if anybody changes it, I mentioned auditability. We can say, someone with so and so identity number changed the results on its way to the portal, you understand? But most often than not, or something we can't change, is the fact that if we have weak endpoints, that is, by endpoints I mean the way through which the results are posted on that ledger, no matter what, blockchain would only enforce what has already been put there. So even, let's imagine a returning officer just puts concocted figures there, that's what blockchain is going to carry. So way much more than the technology involved, the human factor is also very, very important. So that's the take on that blockchain and all like that. But of course, the point is blockchain can be part of the toolbox. But you see, it's just a tool, and it's a tool in the hands of willing members of the establishment that will make this work.
Right. Can you also explain how the reforms aim to enhance inclusiveness for persons with disabilities during the elections?
Okay. For people with disability, one of the things that has been the issue is whether they can even access the facility that allows them to vote. Yeah, we that have complete, you understand what I mean? Some of us, we take it for granted that we can see. We take it for granted that we can walk, and we take it for granted that we can stand under the sun and waiting to cast our vote. But you see, there are other materials, right, like brailles and all those or tactile ballots that can even assist them to do these things. But because all these things are not readily available, technology has a way to make sure that we bridge that gap. So the first thing is accessible materials. people that use Braille, for example, people that even don't use Braille, their phones, you understand, that can allow them to hear or listen to or watch something, you understand, that allows them to know, yeah, okay, my name is already listed on the election or electoral register. And of course, there are a lot of assistive technologies. We have screen readers, we have headphones and all those things. And of course, there's also reasonable accommodation and mobile voting options. So that, let's imagine I am on a wheelchair. I don't necessarily need to walk down or go down to, say, my ballot. Let's say my constituency is in Ogun State, for example. I live in Lekki. I don't necessarily need to go there. I can vote on my phone. I can vote via my email, So all these things are actually not futuristic. It's because the political will to put all these things in place is the issue. Everybody does transfers via phones, and the need to go to the bank has reduced because I can always do my transfer on my phone. Anything I want to do, I could do it on my phone. I could do it on my laptop. I could use technology. So think about this and push it in the light of electoral activities, and you would realize that it allows people with PWDs, you understand, to be able to participate fully in the electoral process.
So how can this sort of electronic change strengthen INEC's mandate over political parties and voter education and everything within their purview?
Yeah, so first, the data from biometric accreditation, e-transmissions, and registration portals give INEC the real-time metrics, right? They can know where turnout is actually poor, and then they can sense that, oh, probably there's an issue in this place. They can know accreditation rates and anomalies. And, a lot of times, I remember was it 2015 or the election where Jonathan, that's president, the former president, went to his own polling unit and couldn't validate his own identity, that's his own voter's card. All these things could have been avoided if all, the technology has been put in place to ensure that all these anomalies were already taken care of. And so that's one thing I see from them. And of course, one thing that we push for is voter education. Technology is actually one of the best ways to push voter education. Technology is one of the best ways to push voter education because, you can share information on WhatsApp, you can share it on their mails, you can share through their number, there's SMS and all those stuff like that. So the point here is that if we leverage technology, INEC would be able to sit and say, yes, I think we conducted very fair elections, we properly educated people. There is no instance where somebody was unable to have access to their rights, their franchise. Nobody was disenfranchised because of the technology framework that we have in place. So digital tools handled through a weak regulator will only make weak regulation look faster, you understand? So making sure that all these things are in place would actually allow INEC to sit properly and, measure all the things so that by the day when election is supposed to be, it's not a story of, we sent these things there, they have not gotten there, Thank you. So that's what I think about that.
All right, Jed, thank you so much for lending your voice to this conversation and for your time with us on the news. We appreciate you.